Okay, back at it today. First real work day, getting ready for the Rams. Tomorrow we'll travel tomorrow afternoon, head over to London, land Friday morning, get another practice in. So we've been educating our guys on kind of what this is going to look like and feel like, and so we can prepare ourselves to play the best game possible on Sunday. From a roster transaction standpoint, we just re-signed Anthony Zettel on the D-line, and we let go Damian Willis. So that's a move we had to make to get another D lineman up. As we got some guys that are still day-to-day up front, we need to make sure that we got another defense lineman up. So that's why we had to make that transaction. Open it up for questions.
What do you expect out of Cordy Glenn this week?
We'll see. We'll take it day-to-day with him, starting with today.
What's his attitude been like in the last 24 hours?
Player day off yesterday, so I didn't talk with him yesterday.
Do you anticipate A.J. Green practicing this week?
We'll see what he can do today. Try to get him over there and do some individuals and start progressing him that way.
Do you anticipate signing Willis to the practice squad?
We would like to keep him around. He's a guy that we have high regard for, and unfortunately, this is just one of those moves you got to make. We got a lot of injuries right now, and so sometimes you got to make some moves that you have to. You got no choice.
He had such a strong preseason. Started week one, just kind of trailed off in snaps. Why do you think he's struggled so much in the season?
Well, he's still a talented player. With a lot of these rookies, those first 2-3 months, this is kind of the way it is, and then it's just the consistency that you're looking for from all the young players. He still has a lot of traits that we value, and we'll just see how it goes these next couple of days with him.
What did you see or hear from Cordy that made you want him to come back and be a part of the team right now?
He had his suspension this weekend, and right now he's part of the roster, and we just take it day to day with him. And he's coming back, eager to practice, and so we'll see what he looks like in practice.
Did you talk to any captains or leaders about how they would accept him back?
No, not specifically with any individual players.
So then you do expect him to practice today?
I do.
Did he break your trust with what happened last week? And if he did, do you guys have to work to build that back up at this point?
I think with all of our players, we want them to operate within the culture that we're setting forth. And, you communicate with every player on this team daily of the things that we want. And, so look forward to getting back to practice today.
Is it possible to preach accountability and have him still be around here with what's going on, or is it a matter of, okay, you served your times, so to speak?
Yeah, everything's really a case-by-case basis, and so that's the approach we'll take today, and excited to see what he can do at practice.
Andy's kind of struggled to get into the games, various games this season. Why do you think it's taken him a while to kind of find consistency and rhythm?
I wouldn't say that it's always Andy's fault. I mean, again, he's the easiest person to blame. It's you can look at various reasons for the starting drives in the last couple of games, and you can say that a couple other people could step up and do their job better to make it easier for him. And so, again, he's always going to take responsibility for it. He's going to take the blame. That's part of playing quarterback. Everybody understands that. But, again, it's all 11 being on the same page and helping him.
Michael Jordan had a couple of struggles there, and then was injured as well. He's had some time now. Where is he in terms of his development in competition for a position?
He's still a young player that we're very excited about. He's got all the traits when we drafted him. And so it was good to get him in some action early in the year. And, now he's a backup guard for us at the moment because we got Billy Redmond back. John Miller will be coming back. He's day-to-day right now too. We'll see if he can go this weekend. So, you got some guys you can look at, and to keep rotating players through, it hurts the consistency in the run game. I know you guys are aware of that at this point. But he's certainly a guy that we don't have a low opinion of. He's a young player. We took him in the 4th round for a reason. We love all the traits about him. His approach every day has been really good. He's going to get another opportunity the way these seasons goes. There's no question we're going to be depending on him at some point, just the way that it always goes. And he's had a great attitude.
Do you expect Carlos back this week?
Day to day with Carlos. I think he'll be very limited today with what he does with the trainers. And we'll kind of just get through these next 2 days and see where he's at.
What about Andre Smith?
Same. I think there is a chance for, talking specifically about the two offensive linemen, John Miller, Andre Smith. There's a chance that we have them back this weekend. In what capacity remains to be seen.
Zach, to use the cliche, I'm not sure anyone actually gets out.
I had the same hat. But go ahead. Sorry.
Same injuries?
I think so. Yeah.
Golf course?
Actually, I couldn't read that. No, never mind. I don't have that hat. Sorry to throw you off. I'm just trying to throw you off.
Now I forget my question.
Good.
I'm not sure anyone circles a game. I don't know if that actually happens. People circle a game on a schedule, but was this one that you pointed to or just at least thought about being a big game with the Rams?
Not really, to be honest with you. Obviously, you have the familiarity with people you know, but at this point, however many years, I'm 7 years in the NFL, I feel like I've played my brother multiple times. There's always relationships you have with other people on other staffs, and this one, just when you're watching the tape, you have a better understanding of the players you're watching. But at the same time, they've already got 7 games of new tape on there, and you can see everybody evolving over the course of a season. So I had the Seattle game circled week 1, and then it was San Francisco, and then so on. So this just happens to be the next team on the schedule.
You said they evolved. Did they look a lot different this year?
No, I wouldn't say, but every team has new wrinkles as the season starts, as you get 4 games in, as you get 8 games in. You always you have different personnel that starts to move around. Certainly they have different offensive linemen that are playing this year. So nothing substantial, just teams evolve over time.
How much have you communicated with Sean, especially through the start? I mean, have you asked him for help or tips? I mean, what is that relationship like now that you're a head coach?
Sean's always somebody I rely on. Obviously, as the weeks got closer to this game, you start to eliminate contact with anybody on that staff and players. But of course, he's always been a great resource for me. And this coaching fraternity, just because a team's on your schedule 5 games down the road doesn't mean you shut off. You still help each other in certain ways. And he's always been encouraging, especially during this tough stretch. As he knows the culture we're working to build and the approach that we're taking, and you just got to continue to be yourself and keep preaching the things that you believe in.
What was the cutoff date?
I don't know that there was I think I talked to him probably 3 or 4 weeks ago was the last time we spoke.
What's the biggest thing you learned from them?
Culture, it's what you value in the players that you want to build the program around, and it's always a process. And the way he treats people, everybody, players, coaches, staff members, everybody feels valued. You know what your role is, and you feel like you need to do it to the highest degree because of the confidence that he has in you. And so that's a great trait for a leader, and he exhibits that to the nth degree. And I'll forever be grateful that he gave me the opportunity there.
You've talked recently about how you leaders are stepping up, that you guys that you want to step up are starting to step up a little bit. We all know about Andrew Whitworth here, and he's probably done the same thing in LA. Is that what you're looking for, as a guy to be that type of locker room, monument as such?
You're looking for a guy that sets the standard and holds everybody to that standard. And as we get 7 weeks through and players are starting to understand what it should look like in all areas, and I'm not just talking about on Sundays on the game field, what it should look like in practice, what it should look like in the meetings. And I know we say that a lot, but it's a constant ongoing process. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen week 1, week 5, necessarily week 7, but at some point it clicks to where more and more guys start to understand it, and the standard's raised, and then it transfers over to Sunday, and it transfers over to wins, and it transfers over to championships, and that's what we're striving for.
What type of impact did Whitworth have on the culture in LA? I know you were there in 2016.
Well, his work ethic it was really good, and he's just a good leader. He's one of those veterans. He's as old as I am. I think he's 6 months older than me. I think he's the only player that was on that team that was older than I was, and so I think through all the life experiences I've had, I'm 36 years old, and there's a player still playing that had the same impact. And so he sees things a little bit differently than some of the younger players do.
You guys decided not to put AJ on IR, hopeful that, was that, if he misses this game, it'll be the same as the IR.
Right.
Was not putting him there basically just in case he does get back? I mean, did you expect him, was it essentially optimistic to not put him on IR? Is that why you guys did do it back then?
Of course, if someone tells me there's any chance that you're going to get him for even a game before that 8th game, I think you're willing to take that with AJ Green. And of course, it was an injury where there's no exact timeline. You try to be as vague as possible because you really don't know, and you're trying at the same time to give some helpful information to everybody. As we see, we're in the 8th week. We'll see where it goes this week. I don't disagree with your point there, but it's been good. He's been working through every single week, and And now here we are, the 8th week, and we'll figure out kind of where he's at with practice today.
Is it the type of injury, is it the type of injury where you get to a certain point and then you say, okay, take even a little bit more time because we don't want to re-aggravate the thing? Is it that, does it fall into that?
I just want to make sure he feels comfortable and confident when he walks on the field. And I think we're getting very close to that point. And so, but again, you got to see him in a full practice yet, which we haven't seen yet. I wouldn't put him in a game if he hasn't gone through a whole practice. So we'll see how much he can do today.
I guess keeping him out, is that also a precaution for, if you all were to re-sign him and if the relationship between him and the franchise continue long-term, him coming back too early could also jeopardize his one? Is that all part of the conversation
No,
as well?
no, it's he wants to play. We want to when he's 100% healthy, get him ready to play. None of the other stuff has any bearing on it. He approaches every day like I'm getting ready to play this Sunday. He's been doing that for weeks, and I know he's been disappointed that he hasn't been ready yet to play. I saw him at halftime of the last game, and I said, "What if we just ran you out right now in full pay? You went out there. How would you feel? And of course he's, oh man, that would be unbelievable. But we just weren't quite there yet. So
Zach, so you expect him to do the individuals today?
Mhm.
He looks okay? Does he keep pumping?
we'll see. We'll recap it after the day and kind of see what's on schedule for Thursday.
Right now, you see him doing individuals.
Yes.
Zach, you said in your opening remarks that you're trying to help the guys prepare and understand for what this weekend is going to look like in London. Everyone talks about the time difference,
Mhm.
but how similar, realistically speaking, can you make this to, say, your average game week?
It's not. It's not similar, and so that's what they have to be able to adapt. It's which team adapts. You see a lot of different styles of games that happen in London. Some of them go one way really bad either way. Some of them are really close because both teams are well prepared, and so you got to make sure that our guys understand what it's going to feel like to land at 1 a.m. and go practice. And so you got to find a way to sleep on so all the things that we educate them on, because if you haven't done it, like anybody, you kind of sit in a class, you sit in a meeting, you hear the information, okay, yeah, and then all of a sudden you don't do what you're told, and the next day you realize, oh, that's what he was talking about. So next year I'll be better at it. So we're just making very clear to our guys that it's not next year. We got to make sure that on Friday we feel the way we should feel.
Is there anything you took from what Sean did in this game? Is there anything what you took how Sean prepared from London and you transported that to here?
No, not necessarily. This is my 4th time going, and I feel like every team I've been on has had a good plan to get over there on Thursday night and do the things we need to do to get ready.
I guess they get a break staying in Atlanta. I mean, that's a break for them to stay in Atlanta, I think.
Is it? They're in a neutral site. They're in an unknown city. You never know.
Is there a favorite part of the trips that you enjoy the most?
It's just a normal, one year I went to Parliament. They gave us a tour. Pretty neat. I'm not. I didn't really know what I was in for, but there were just some really cool things that you learn, and some sayings that we use, in the bag, toe the line, all these things that come from, decades and decades of things that have happened in Parliament. It was just some interesting things that I think that was 4 years ago when I was in Miami. We got a tour of it. It's pretty neat.
Between the AJ injury, the Cordy situation, 0-7, all these challenges you've had this year, was there anything that happened in LA that you kind of used as a template, the way Sean dealt with adversity, or any of your stops along the way that you kind of looked at a head coach and said that's the way to do it?
Oh, you can't change who you are. You can't change your attitude. You can't all of a sudden lose games and all the things you preached all off season and all regular season flip. Oh, now we're going to be negative. Now we're going to criticize everything you do, and everything you do is bad and terrible, and we got to fix it. We got to be the same people every single day when we walk in this building, and just because we're facing some difficult games that are behind us now, doesn't mean that we compromise our core values and our beliefs and the approach we've taken. And sometimes this thing happens instantly. You start out 4-0, new systems, new team, whatever. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes it takes 7 games. And so we just stay the course, keep believing in each other, keep working hard, and the payoff comes at some point. We're certainly focusing on it being this week, but we got good guys. You identify good people in the locker room that are going to keep staying the course and preaching the things that the coaching staff is preaching and approaching practice the same way. And, we got to keep fighting. There's 16 games in this season. unfortunately, we've lost 7 of them, but we still have time to salvage this thing and do some good things this year.
One more minute, please.
You said you've been to London 4 times?
This will be my 4th time.
4th time.
Yes.
Bangers and mash or fish and chips?
I say fish and chips because I don't know what the other thing is.
Mashed potatoes, sausage, peas, get it.
I don't think I went that far. I think it was usually the hotel food, as Americanized as I could get it. Yeah, I'm pretty picky with my food choices.
Couple more. Aaron Donald, I
Who?
know you didn't coach him specifically, but is he the best at his position of anybody you've ever seen? Is he the best player? This has been, I'm not saying the best player you've ever seen, but the best player, and maybe even the best player you've ever seen. Is he as good?
He's someone you got to be well aware of on every single snap. I certainly think that we got a pretty good D tackle as well. Aaron Donald is, you round him, see how he works. He's a special player, and he can wreck a game if you let him. And so you got to make sure you pay attention to where he's at.
Thank you.
Thank you.